Okay, it's on. This is my first time using my camera on my laptop because my laptop finally decided to start working after doing my downloads. So I guess that's a sign. Anyway, um, what's up? Um, Back again to do another video. I wanted to do a video. I consume so much um, YouTube and watching so many great content creators, learning a lot about a different sides and different perspectives that I've never really considered before, or kind of considered, and it's kind of brought my perspective. And as I take in information from people to try to understand the world around me and the experiences that happen, and I see the camaraderie, or the community and similar experiences. It's inspiring, and I obviously have a different background, as we all do, perspectives on things, um, and you know I wanted to offer something to the conversation, basically. I do a lot of tarot card readings. Uh, a lot of people are familiar with, you know, tarot cards and getting readings and that kind of thing, and kind of understanding how it relates to, their experience day to day, and their emotions and how they think, and the events that occur. So it just dawned on me, and all of these conversations we have about Blackistan and the black community, divestment, but more specifically about just the challenges and tragedies that we see so often in the black community and in Blackistan, which I think is a great, funny name, but it's because it's accurate. Um, I of course, being walking and seeing spiritual perspectives on most every experience I have. Why would this conversation be any different? And I found that ever since I've really taken it seriously to consider and incorporate what tarot, what readings, what spirit has to say, in dealing with certain men and in certain circumstances, has made a difference. It helps to hone in on your intuition, um, and to give clarity where oftentimes you are finding that men are purposefully providing darkness and obscurity. So it becomes, I think, even more important. Um, Obviously, along with what your grandmama always said, prayer. It's important to consider the tools that are available to you to help you see clearly. Most importantly, to help you see yourself clearly. And in that process, help you understand the world around you more clearly. And that will naturally include the black men that you come across in your experiences naturally. Um, One of my favorite content creators who I think is funny. I downloaded her song because I think it's great. Her name is Lexus Exodus. Shout out to her. Um, while I am on the fence about the Exodus completely, right now from our beautiful, black men that are just going through things just like us, just like all of us are. But the way that is coming out and it's being expressed it is something to take a step back and to really examine, to look at. And that's why I like her so much, because that's exactly what she does. And I think with the sense of humor and lightness, and freshness that she brings to the topic and to these conversations, which are so heavy, I think is a blessing, and I think is a beautiful thing. So along with that, and kind of in that boat, on that current, in that direction. Not maybe not being quite as about it, like so many content creators are. I just have something I like to add to it. Um, okay, so she refers to the black men that are, you know, dealing with women in really reckless, aggressive, haphazard, dysfunctional, toxic, abusive, detrimental ways. Um, how they're still put upon a pedestal and oftentimes turned a blind eye to, per se. She coins that phrase as those black men being tanks, um, and our black kings. And but yes, our black kings, and that's something that we tend to um, cherish and kind of protect. And the thing is, while that is a beautiful, righteous title that necessarily should not be done away with, it is oftentimes given over to um, black men that perhaps necessarily may not have earned it or have done things to distort that crown, um, by their own hands, um, by their own decision making, by their own perspectives and how they think. So I think really that's really the more healthy way to look at it. And it brings me to my second topic. In the tarot community, we have a little something we like to call the divine masculine. I don't see why these men in this conversation should be any different. And so I like to make a bridge and make a platform, or at least a dialogue for a discussion about this, because I think that's what we have going on. So these black men that may or may not, you may or may not see as kings, um, we would more affectionately and perhaps more righteously and correctly, in a spiritual perspective, call them the divine masculine. Now, what happens oftentimes is these divine masculine men become distorted for a variety of reasons because of you know again, the perspective of how they think, how they are emotionally seeing their situations, and the people they're interacting with, um, the way they're framing their interaction with people based off of not seeing things right from childhood or young adult perspectives and things that have happened to them that haven't been appropriately talked about, or um, kind of expressed in a healthy way, so that a proper framework and perspective can be offered and given, so that the tools can be there, for our brothers, our kings, black kings, to see things in a more healthy way. So the divine masculine in tarot is seen, you see that, yeah, is seen as the emperor. So I wanted to show the image, and I thought it would be a good idea to show the images so that you can see the energy, if you're really kind of into that kind of thing, of what these men are all about: structure, order, um, righteousness, um, not domination, but you know, a clear connection to enacting righteousness on earth. You know, holding down the four corners, being in right alignment. These are righteous men. This is a divine masculine. These are true black kings, and really kings of any culture. But this is what the energy is all about. I think oftentimes what we have is this energy in reverse. Go reverse right here. Yeah. in reverse. So the problem is these men tend to be tyrants, unhealthy, toxic. The world around them is always upside down. They can't secure a right view of the world, and they're by themselves. They're powerless, dominated, instead of being the one to dominate. Completely out of balance. So it's rough energy, and that's oftentimes what we see kind of enacted upon us. Now, women that are the counterpart to that in these relationships that we so righteously try to offer when we are trying to be nurturing, supportive, understanding, um, loyal, loving, all those things that naturally go with this energy to support this energy in creation is something that's nurturing and loving. It's a feminine energy that is called the divine feminine. Now, this energy, too, of course, can be distorted and upside down. We have that in society today, obviously, with the, kind of Cardi B, Meg the Stallion, City Girls kind of thought behavior, and but that's what it is. That's that energy in the reverse. But that's another discussion for another day. We're talking about this. So back to this. This energy that supports it, that's feminine, is called the divine feminine energy. And we in tarot land represented by the Empress. It's a natural match, you see. But the main thing about this energy is that it flows. It helps things grow. You know, it's literally the sign of Venus. It's beauty. It's love. Um, it's the thing that is inspiring. It's beauty. And the goal, the hope, the wish is that men are in this energy enough so that women can naturally stay balanced and in this energy all the time. But in today's society, when men are in this energy, it's impossible for women to maintain this if they even go into it at all. But the main thing about this energy right here, how does it get like this? A man that should be balanced in all areas of his life to maintain, and it doesn't happen. Well, in tarot, we have an explanation for that too, that I'd like to offer to the conversation. Break it down in tarot. We break it down by four suits. Sorry, four suits, um, represented by swords, pentacles, cups, and wands. So the divine masculine, the emperor, represents all four of those energies upright and in balance and in sync, working together to create that energy. The king of swords, this man has complete, cool, calm, collected manner of expressing and being in control of his thoughts. It's a beautiful energy, a man that can bring in fresh thoughts, fresh ideas, fresh perspectives. See how things grow beneath his feet and around him. So air, energy, thoughts. That's why it's kind of a sky card there, but a lot of sky in the background. That's what I mean. But fundamentally, this card upright is a man that is sharp in his thoughts and thereby the execution of things. That energy is desperately needed for a man to be in and maintain this energy. Divine masculine can't be a divine masculine if he's not in control of his sword. How he makes money too, because it's a tool. It's another discussion. Everything's a tool, but this is a good one. This is a strong one. This is your command of your thoughts, ability to shape the thoughts of others. When it's in reverse, it's a man that's reckless with his tongue, that'll say anything, you know, causes this energy to go right along with it. My masculine loses it here in his thoughts. Second energy that Phil wants to come out. Probably one of the most significant ones, in so much as we're talking about a relationship. In the cups, those are your emotions because they hold water, and water represents emotions. The King of Cups. This is a man that embodies complete control and command of his emotions. So he's kind of on a platform there amongst the water and the waves. They don't overtake him. He's nurturing. He's loving. See how he's like, it's a softness kind of, well, the artist is trying to represent a softness. But the King of Cups, see there's a foot in the water connected to his emotions. Though not being overtaken by them, but fully embracing them, you know. It's a card that is desperately needed if a man is to be balanced in his emperor energy. It works in conjunction uh, with the sword here. Your thoughts and your emotions. The air drives the waves of the waters, but that's another discussion for another day. The point is that this man right here needs to be upright desperately. Otherwise you have the incidences where this right here, when it's in reverse, we call these are men that are narcissists. The men that are completely out of control of their emotions, um, imbalanced and reckless in how they deal with you. These are the men when they're not in proper emotional alignment with how they see themselves or events that happen with them. They act emotional, kind of like women, and that's when they do reckless things like cheat, fight, just all kind of Valhalla, hell, just men that allow the emotions and the waves of life and the vicissitudes of life to overtake them. These are the men that serial cheat because it makes them feel better because they don't want to do their work to understand why this is like this. And it all it does is cause this right here to go right along with it. A man that's not in control of his emotions could never be in control of his thoughts. Now, how much divine masculine do you think can come through in something like that? We're not finished. There's another card that kind of really explains why we see the epidemic of black canes or dysfunctional, distorted divine masculines right now. That's the men that in the 3D are so focused on money and materialism, not only so much as what they have that's flashy, what they wear, even so much as what they eat, the bitches they fuck. Sorry, women when they have sex. Anyway, put an R rate on this. The King of Pentacles. You can tell that I'm talking about this card anyway. Earthly men, men that are all about abundance, growth, prosperity, making money. And they have a strong command of that. And obviously this is something that a divine masculine needs and comes naturally. So see, I don't know, I never noticed that before. Um, yeah, he's kind of wearing like armor underneath, just like, just like, just like the Emperor card. Kind of have the same outfit underneath. It's something that that it's a different. It's an additional garment that overlays the natural command that he has. You know, it's a natural masculine energy that comes out. When a man is in an upright energy of being in a divine masculine seat. You know, divine masculine can't, in some cases, really manifest the fullness of that energy if he doesn't have command of this. When it's in the reverse, this is a man that's overrun by his obsessions and materialism and expressing, his prowess um, financially by doing dumb things, even impulsiveness. You know, when this goes in reverse, naturally, a man can't stay and sit in the divine masculine energy if this is in reverse. And oftentimes, if a man is not in control of his emotions and his thoughts, this naturally falls right along with it. How much hope does a man have in remaining in a Kang energy? There's some hats in Africa that African kings wear that look like that too, by the way. One more card that really kind of impacts, I think, uh, impacts why our black kings, our divine masculines, fall by the wayside. Boy, this card don't stand a chance of being upright. It's possible for a black man to be upright, at least in this area of his life, so much as he has an over strong command of his thoughts and things like that. Maybe this right here, if a man not being in control of this, his emotions, right here, that divine masculine is right out the window. Because the King of Wands will either make it or break it every time. The King of Wands right here. What does this card represent out of the four? This is a man's passion, his will, his drive, his ability to actually create and spawn new things in this world. His ambition, his fire in his gut, his root, his ability to basically, his ability to make things do what it do, fiery. But this is oftentimes a card of sexual expression, truly. A man's wand. Oftentimes, a lot of readers, of course, see how the wand itself will look like a penis. New things sprout from it, like a sperm. That's what new things sprout from sperm. This card is a masculine card, through and through, balls to grown, and it's about a man's wand, his ability to make things happen, either by his hands or his other members of his body that make things happen. The wand. When this goes in reverse, it's out of control. It's unchecked. It's unbridled. It's community penis. Anybody can get it. This energy every time will destroy the foundation. You can't maintain upright of this energy if this is in reverse, because it'll sabotage it. It'll destroy it. All four have to be upright and work together in conjunction in balance. All four of these have to work upright and in balance if a man has any hope of making sure this remains upright. So, Empress, divine feminine energy. Shouldn't go reverse on any of those things that relate to the feminine kind of embodiment of that, on account of a man falling out of sync. It's to know it and to call it and to, offer support, obviously. That's all you can really do. But make sure that you know it. You have to know those kind of patterns in those areas in yourself. But that's another discussion for another day. Certainly makes this process easier. But you need to know and have the ability to recognize when any one of these things are out of balance. So you don't waste your time mislabeling. I wouldn't really kind of be so, that's why I wouldn't kind of be so aggressive, because me as a person that kind of knows these things, know that it's just a root cause of all of these things as to why they're reversed. Because with a little thought, a little effort, with a little sincere, I guess, interest, any one of these things can be brought back into an upright standing balance. It's something about how he's seeing the world, or an ill action that's being done based off of an ill perspective. And you'll have to get deeper into it to know what all that is. I'm just telling you at the top of the pyramid, at the top of it, kind of what's going on. One of these four things are in reverse when this happens. When you go to a tarot card reader about what's happening with a man, and this falls out. Well, one of these four things is in reverse. Go on a quest to find out what it is. But you can spare and save yourself. You can just go back to him and say, "Look, bro, here for you for therapy. You'd like to go to a counselor, but your emotions are off, your thoughts are off, your drive and will is off. Your execution and your results are off. One of those, I can support you in getting those things upright, but I can't play any other game besides that. Because, baby, in this world, this thing is either like this or it's like this. Don't spend your life figuring out or crying about why. Well, at least to men that don't want to do work anyway. All right, that's all I had to say. I really wanted to get that out. I'm glad I did. That's my thought of fundamentally on Blackistan, on dysfunctional communities, on toxic communities, on, you know, how that impacts and shows up in relationships. It's always an individual journey. Fundamentally, always an individual journey. When you go to someone to get a reading, if you were into that, we wouldn't be reading for the community. We'd be reading for you. So keep that in mind, I guess. In terms of kind of looking at the overall epidemic that's going on, yeah, there's an overall epidemic of people not getting the healing that they need from a lack of community, a lack of support. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, that's all for this video. Keep making this great content. If I ever see any more synchronicities that I'm really moved to share, I'll definitely do so. I thought this was definitely worth it. And give me your feedback, your comments, your thoughts. I'd love to hear, um, and kind of open up the dialogue on something like this, because it's kind of the opportunities, the time has come to, when you see an opportunity to blend spaces, to blend perspectives. If you have something from your perspective that you think can add to the conversation in a healthy, productive way, you should offer it. So that's all. Have a great day or a great evening wherever you are.